Morning, everybody. It is 8:10. It's November 22nd. All right. Market had a little bit of a pullback. Actually, almost pulled back to the breakout point, and then kind of had like a doji, right? So it was awaiting FOMC minutes and Nvidia. Well, Nvidia's at the close, but Nvidia reported earnings. It was like a kind of like they beat, but then they talked about China curbs possibly hurting some of their future revenue or whatever. But Nvidia has been all over the place. It was up, it's been down. So that's what's going on with Nvidia. Market right now is up, and we're going into the market being closed tomorrow, and then a shortened session on Friday. So market never ceases to amaze. And without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in the market, along with gamma exposure level, supply and demand, and the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day, all to help me find structure in this market. Okay, it really helps me. So, yesterday I talked about a scenario that I really loved pre-market that came to fruition. So we got the nice short. I actually used the Qs, so that was a beautiful setup. Just waited, and waited, and then got that nice move down in the Qs all the way to like 380. I can't remember now where it went down to. I think 386. I got this. I'll look at it in a second. And that was nice. And then pretty much that my day was over. Um, but that was a great setup. I talked about how much I loved it because it was equal in the ES. ES took a little longer to push down, but the Qs really had the nice move. So, um, subscribe, set an alert if you like the content that I'm doing here. Of course, you can always give me um, a thumbs up if you like what you see. You can wait to the end if you want to do it. That will help me out. And you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right. Let's get into the futures. Let's see what's going on here. We got Ether up 1.53. We have 30-year bonds being bought up 0.65. TLT's up 0.51. Russell up 0.49. Nasdaq's up 0.36. ES up 0.20. We have jobless claims coming out at 8:30. We have the Dow's up 0.07. The dollar's up 0.07. Gold, there it is. See if it can hold 2K and push. I mean, it really has a lot of supply there. But if we start to push gold, that should start to rocket. But that's been there before. See if it can make a move. Okay, 10-year yield reported 820. That should be down. And if 30-year bonds are up 0.65, 10-year yield, can we be looking to go down to 4.3 to 4.0? I don't know, but that should fuel this market. Silver is basically down 0.06. Bitcoin's down 1.07%. The VIX is down 2.25%. We're at 13. Crude getting hammered here, down 4.1%. I believe they got a surplus in inventory yesterday, and it's at the most traded price of the year, okay, and of the last year. So crude is in a spot that you really got to determine where you're gonna want to do with crude. You don't want to initiate something at the most traded price of the year. There's going to be too much congestion there. So I will wait. Okay. Um, let's move on to stocks I like to day trade and swing trade. All right. Let's see here. Microsoft. All right. Now I just saw that Sam Altman is going back to OpenAI. So pretty interesting. Snow up 0.74. Tesla's up 0.68. Followed by Roblox up 0.65. Baba's up 0.61. So you got a lot of leaders here. Laggard is coin. Now, the only thing I saw with Binance, this guy is pleading guilty to money laundering and a bunch of stuff like that. Maybe that's the little weakness in crypto or Bitcoin, right? Moving on. Let's go to top sector stocks. Looking at Qualcomm. Now, I did see that Applied Materials, okay, got an upgrade to a buy. Okay, so Qualcomm's up 0.43. Goldman Sachs up 0.31. Morgan Stanley's up 0.29. All right. Let's go to laggards. Look at Chevron and Exxon, obviously crude, right? They're getting hit pretty hard. Cat in sympathy is down 2.21 to John Deere. John Deere did not have good earnings. Okay. That's what's going on there. All right. I did see a bunch of retail get like price targets lowered as well. I believe it was Nordstrom. I forget the next one. I think it was Kohl's maybe. I have to look at that again, but um, I don't want to give misinformation. So let's go into sectors. There should be no surprise here with the sectors. Um, Now that's interesting. Real estate doesn't really move the market much, the sector, but it's up 0.58. And you got technology. That's interesting. You got real estate and technology are up. Communications up 0.35. Tech up 0.32. I just mentioned that. Basic materials is pretty interesting. Basic materials is up. Discretionary. Is there a laggard? Well, energy, right? Energy. So, like I said, I believe energy, and I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, so don't do what I'm saying. I'm simply just laying out what I might possibly see next year. Is energy, you know, had a banger year last year, had a little bit of a move up this year, but then has come back. And I believe next year could be another year for energy. So we'll see. All right. We will see. Let's get into economic calendars. I'm not going to go into a lot of news. I don't think there's tons and tons of news. Okay. Let's look at our economic calendar together. We are looking at let's just go to today. All right, and so we'll look at it this way. All right, so we got durable goods coming out, initial jobless claims, okay, coming out at 8:30. We're looking for around consensus 225. Previous was 231. So this market could get a little pep in its step if it goes to like 235, 240, right? Because that would mean the Fed doesn't have to do anything. That means that rate hikes are doing its job. Okay. Now at 10 a.m., I would not enter a trade near 10 a.m. You got Michigan consumer sentiment coming out with a bunch of all these other numbers that will cause volatility. Okay. So just keep an eye on that. That's really it for the calendar. Okay. Now the only thing that I was trying to tell you guys about before was these price targets here at the bottom. I'm not even sure if you can see this. Well, bottom line is Nordstrom, Lowe's, Kohl's, Best Buy have all got their price targets lowered, except Abercrombie and Fitch. So retail wise, it's not the strongest right now. So that's what's going on there. If anything, the FOMC really didn't do much to the market. The minutes, okay. Nothing I'm seeing here. Nothing I'm seeing here really of importance. All right, we can get right over to the daily charts. Okay, boom. Keep this moving today. I'd expect the market to die down really big time after lunch. Or not after lunch, right at lunch. I believe the volume should significantly decrease. Okay. Let's look at these daily charts together. All right. So what did we have yesterday? Obviously, I said the day before we went right up and closed at a key resistance level, right? So I'll just keep this swing high in the picture here. We'll zoom in. Okay. Have this trend line that's been holding, okay, in the SPY. So we had an inside day yesterday, doji. Okay, now where are we now? 454.48. 454.48. We're up here, gapping up slightly. Okay. Well, if you go by the close, it's a big gap, but in futures, you don't count that. You just go by the high. So cap on this. Obviously, I know this is SPY. It's not futures, but so that's what's going on in the SPY. Okay. What do we get today? I don't know. Don't know. All right. So this is last week's highs. We're holding last week's highs. Okay. Right there. So bullish structure, right? Now let's go to the Qs. Okay. Qs was a little weaker yesterday. Relatively weaker. All right. So big push up. But look at yesterday. We went right back to the breakout point. Caught a bid right there. Right. So and then we closed above last week's highs. Okay, so bullish structure, right? We got a little trend line here. Didn't get violated. So right now, where are we? 390.17. So all the way up here. Inside day as well. So gapping up. Now Nvidia. Now you got Microsoft up 1%. Okay, Tesla's up 0.77. So that's gonna make that the Qs move high, right? Alrighty. So let's move on to our triple-headed monster. And that yield. Let's see. Oh yeah. Look at this, guys and girls. That 10-year yield, right? So we'll shrink this down a little bit. Now the express chart that I love using, that's last week. High, last week's lows. We just went right down to the 100-day moving average, right? Right. If you look to the left, to this big resistance at 4.3. Okay, we landed right there. Does this get a little bounce? Don't know. Okay, but the next move is down to 4.2. So very interesting, right? As these continue to go down, the market should go up. That's generally how it works. Okay, bond prices are the inverse of the yield. So bond market should be catching a bid. Okay. Like I said, now, right now we're at 4.37. TNX is right now down 1.06%. You can see the gap down. Okay, right here. We can get a little closer. Right there. Closed here yesterday. Now we're below last week's lows. Right here. Okay. So, what a move. What a move. Okay. People were calling for higher yields here, and then boom, you hit the 5, almost 5%. I believe this high, no, didn't get the 5%. Let's see, did this get the 5? Never touched 5, but 4.9. And now look, all the way back down to 4.3. All right. So very, very interesting. VIX, not a lot of fear, right? So it's pushing down to lows here. So look at this pretty big, like significant support at like 12. Okay. You can see the support here. Okay. Now let's look at the dollar. These all go together. Okay. Look at this dollar. Let's get in. Let's get in here, right? 200-day moving average at the dollars right here. Here's last week's lows. We're below it. Okay, the dollar right now it's like flat. Okay, but you can see here let's see here. Next support would be around here, right here at 102.71. So this is good for equities, good for commodities. Okay, a weaker dollar. So all pointing for the market to stay higher, right? To rally. All right. Intraday, that doesn't mean you can't short. That doesn't mean that. Okay. But this is like more of a macro perspective. Okay. That was the triple headed monster update. Okay. Now we go into structure. Okay. We go right into my favorite part, right into what I consider my edge. Okay. Right into the market profile. And we're going to look at some structure here. Not sure who's with me today. Colby's usually there. Not sure. Not sure if people are on vacation, traveling, and I wouldn't blame you. Okay, but yesterday was a beautiful setup. Beautiful setup. Okay, that happened yesterday. Okay. Oh, I love that setup yesterday. All right, so I'm not gonna talk about it, the SPY, because that's not ES. That's not what I traded because the Nasdaq was very, very, very weak. Okay, so it did work on the SPY, but the ES, but the better was the Nasdaq. So I'll get into that a little bit. So we'll look at the structure together. Okay, what do we got here? A little bit of excess, some volume here, and now we have some more volume here, and we're kind of getting a flattish top here. So not much excess, right? We're kind of balancing again, right? So the most traded price of the week is here currently. Now this is RTH. Okay, we're looking at a 24-hour chart basically. So if the market can hold this, yeah, you're gonna move that up, and that's bullish, right? Price will follow value. That's what you need. Okay, so you're building out acceptance here of this breakout. Okay, so as far as this overnight session has engulfed the RTH session yesterday. Okay, so what do we have here, right? We got, so again, structure wise, we're above the most traded price of the week. All right, bullish. Possibly gonna move the most traded price of the week up, bullish. Okay, we just saw the dollar and the 10-year yield. Okay, so we're just breaking out of this supply zone. So this is going to negate this supply zone that's right here. Okay, we're gapping up. All right, now let's look at our sessions together. This is yesterday's highs. This is yesterday's lows. Okay, this is overnight low. This is overnight high. That's making new highs as I'm speaking. So we're gapping up. This is where we opened, right? So we have this much short to this much long. Okay, so this could very well be a low volume push higher, right, today. But we have to see. I'm not going to go long up there, and I just invalidate that supply zone, so it's doing its job. Okay, kind of like a balanced session here. All right, so let's look at this. Now, some people used to watching me. We have our gap rules, right? So this is in futures, you don't count close as the gap, you count the days before high or low. So this is the gap right there, fill. Okay. Now, okay. Let's hold. I'm going to pause real quick. We're going to go to jobless claims. Let's go to that. What happened? What's the number? They're populating now. Okay, market's getting a little volatility. Let's see here what the jobless claims were. I just see a little pop down, so maybe it beat the number. I don't know. I don't know why it's not updating yet. Let's refresh. All right. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. So previous was 233. This one's 209. This is below. So you don't want that, because this would mean higher for longer, basically, right? You want these numbers to be beating the numbers. You want more jobless claims. Now, market could be shrugging it off, right? But it's a miss, basically. Okay. All right. Let's move back to the profile. Okay. I'm not putting too much weight into that. That is a little bit of a bearish number, but market's going to do what the market's going to do. Let's get back to this really quickly. Let's talk about the gap rules. Okay. So, what's the most bullish outcome? Gap and go. Okay. This is how we determine the strength of the market. Okay. What's the second most? Well, pull back, don't fill the gap, go higher. That's the second most bullish outcome. Okay. What's the third most? Market pulls back, fills the gap, and then takes off. Okay. That shows strength. That shows the buyers are strong. Okay. If we pull back and we fill the gap and start going back into range, that is a sign of a little bit of weakness. Okay, so this is how we're going to gauge this. Okay, this goes right into the plan and right into the scenario of today. Okay, already can see on my levels here. All right, already see some levels here. Okay, now right here we have a similar situation. Okay, we have a big level here. So 45, 47 is a big level. Okay, and it's a real big one. Okay, and I'm going to explain why. Let's get rid of this. Let's zoom in so I can really show you why. Okay, let's zoom in here. I'm really going to get into this. Why? Now, hold on here. It's gotten rid of my profile. Let me see if I can pop that profile back. Right there. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Okay, price is here. Okay. Price is here. All right. Now, this is important. Value area of yesterday, which means 70% of the trade that happened was right here. These are my blue lines and the highlighted in the profile. 70% of the trade. The most traded price is right here. The close is right here. See what I mean? This is all confluence. The most traded price of the week is probably going to be up here when we go into the session. What else do we have here? We got a demand zone. Okay? We have a demand zone. So, very easy. Okay? Very easy. What the bulls need to defend is this area. Okay? Even in the overnight, look at the value area. It's right here. 70% of the trade overnight has happened right there. Okay? So the most pain buyers can feel is underneath this level down here. Okay? So very simple. What is a bullish scenario? So we know our gap fill is right here. Okay? So you can see a push. Now the supply is negated. You can see a push up a little bit. And you're going to want to see, does the market fill this gap? If it fills the gap and even dips into this demand and starts getting defended, well, guess what? We're having this little Thanksgiving gift. We're going to go up. We're going to rally. Okay? That is the gap fill, because you could nip this dip. But you also, I know I said if it goes into range, it's a little weakness. I'm just saying, but now you have this big level. Okay? If the market cannot find acceptance below this level and it holds it, its acceptance is meaning it kind of like balances underneath it. If it doesn't do that, it could do a quick whip up, hold. This market's going to melt up or whatever and go higher. Okay? That is that, right? That is the most probable outcome. Right? Market's bullish right now. Now, short. Okay? Obviously, market could open. We're gapping up. We could push up, right? Push up into these, there's highs over here, and then we can start to making lower highs, right? Come down here, fill the gap, and now the job, if this is, remember, this is a bear scenario, if you can take out this demand, hold under it, hold under it, we're probably going to test yesterday's lows right there. Okay, I don't know if this is in the cards. I'm just saying we could go down right here to old value. That's what I see right now. Okay, that is the ES. Okay, so very, very simple. Again, I like it again. Really like it. Doesn't matter that it's low volume. This structure is the structure. Okay, now let's go over to the NASDAQ. All right, here's our NASDAQ. Okay, here's our NASDAQ. So again, yesterday, right here, right, really quickly, this was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trade, okay, that I talked about in the morning. All right, most traded price and the POC and the overnight was here. I talked about if we opened here, right, and I said if we can stay under here, we're going to get a nice move down, and we did. Boom, went all the way down into this demand and caught a bid. I rode that all the way down there. Beautiful trade. Loved it because of the market profile, buying profile. That's the edge that I bring, right? So, we're looking at structure, right? All right, so let's talk about the structure. Let's look at it. We got our buying profile here for the week, right? Got double distribution here, right there. Okay. I would say this is a week low, right there. So you got overnight low and you got the RTH low from yesterday. Okay. That's one thing. We're gapping up in the NASDAQ as well. Okay. Inventory. You opened here, you went here, and you went here. That is not an edge. Okay. We're not 100% net long. I mean, you can say everyone's long from here and here. That's correct. But in the session, the pain has already been felt. Okay. All right. So structure-wise, what do we have? We have a weak high up here that still has not been broken. That's at 16,116. Okay, so that's a weak high, right? Do we break that today? Possibly. Okay, possibly. Okay. So we already talked about gap rules in the ES, so it's no different here. There's the gap, right? So this is yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, overnight low, overnight high. Okay. We got the most traded price, the close, and the demand zone right here in the NASDAQ. It's not as, it doesn't set up like the ES did, okay? But it's still, this is the place that it needs to defend if you get a pullback. That's the bottom line, okay? That is the bottom line. All right, so scenarios for the NASDAQ. Let's talk about it, okay? Very similar. So if we have a bullish scenario, okay, gap fill. Here's the first one. Obviously, you can gap and go. You can fill the gap and then you can go, right? We also have our line in the sand here with the demand zone. So this area If the market moves up, comes back down, and tests this demand zone and the most traded price of yesterday, this could be another point where we go like that. Okay. And can we break this week high? I think I was calling this a week low. This is a week high. Can we break that and punch through higher? Don't know. Everything's possible with scenarios, right? Okay. Let's move on to the bearish. Okay. We do have a weak low here. Okay. You have a low here. Okay. So this is our line in the sand. Right. But I don't like, looking at the NASDAQ, I don't really love it. All right. I don't really love, you got a demand here. It's going to be tough to cut through all this, but we have to talk about it. So we're gapping up, so we can gap and go right into this supply zone, and let's say this holds, right? You have single prints here that haven't been cleaned in the RTH session. You could definitely come back and test this area. Okay. Now remember, obviously I talked about in the bullish case, you could defend this and the market could go higher, but we got to talk about what it's bearish. So you have to take this demand zone out, pop up, hold under here, and then we could go against this weak low, break it, and return back to value. Like I said, to me, this is the harder trade. This is the harder thing to happen, but you have to be open to anything that happens, okay? You have to. All right? That's really what I'm looking at today. Really what I'm looking at. All right? Can the bulls defend that level? That's it. And then if there's a trade and if things are in sync, I'll look at it. But if they're not in sync, I'll probably sit on my hands, close it up at 11:30 or so, and because I know the market's gonna die. Okay. That's it for me, guys. All right. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, set an alert. Okay, that would help me out tremendously. Also, give me a thumbs up if you like what you saw. You could always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, so we have the plan. Plan's pretty easy. Okay, we got a gap up, so we got gap rules to lean on. All right, so hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. Okay, I'm probably, no, I know I'm not, obviously not trading tomorrow, but I'm probably not going to trade Friday. So most likely we'll see you guys back on Monday. So everybody have a good holiday. All right, take it easy.